Hi there, it's Friday. It's the 4th of September. Took a couple of days off, just got busy doing some other things. Keeping track though of what's going on in the economy, and it is crazy. Stock market down over 800 points yesterday. It's down again today. 881,000 more people losing their jobs, plus another 750,000 gig workers and self-employed losing their jobs. Numbers came up today. They said we gained 1.5 million jobs. Don't ask me how. Something about the Census Bureau, federal employees. They hired some temporary workers, but again, they're just temporary. There is no way that this was on top of the 5 million that were lost in August, that they gained another 1.5 million. It's just the way they calculate this stuff. They say that the unemployment rate is like 8.6%. It is totally not. There are millions and millions and millions of people without work. 12 million people alone in the entertainment world, right? And we're talking about roadies, we're talking about truck drivers and bus drivers and lighting people and sound people and all those people that make shows and events and concerts go on. I mean, that was the first industry to close, and it will be the last industry to open, and there are 12 million people hurting, and it's musicians, and it's their managers, and the venue places, and the theaters, and everybody else. It's a big problem. And they are begging Congress for an extension of PUA. A lot of them are not officially employed. They're all gig economy workers, right? So, if someone's going on tour, they work with the band and they go and they get paid, per setup or per gig. It's not like they're employed full time because they're just temporary workers, right? So you go to one place, and after you set that place up in Boston, then you go to New York City and you start setting up there, and then the band comes and then you start taking down and you move it to somewhere else, and it's just a gig economy. And a lot of musicians are hurting big time. They don't have money. You think about big bands and Taylor Swift, Justin Bieber, the Rolling Stones. Yeah, maybe they can wait it out, but for the most part, a lot of them have nothing. So they lit all their buildings in red. It's a catastrophe, really, without any relief. So they have a restart the PUA, pandemic unemployment insurance. I mean, these people have nothing. I mean, and it's not just those events, right? You think about all the festivals and fairs and people who sell that fried dough when you're at a big state fair anywhere in America. They all charge $20 to get in. You have these big fairgrounds with nobody in them anymore. They, charge money for people to come and sell their hot dogs or fried dough or candied apples or their crafts or whatever, right? I mean, it was big money, really big money, decimated. The tourism industry, it's not just tourism, it's everything all across the board. And when they say there is an 8.4% unemployment rate, I just want to scream, because we know it's not true. It is so much worse than that. We ain't recovering from this, folks. That stock market went down 800 points yesterday. It's down again today. It can keep going down. It will still be disconnected from Main Street. I know there's this big problem too with moratoriums for rent and no forbearances for mortgage. And what are these poor little landlords going to do? Their credit's going to be decimated. They're going to lose their house. They're not going to be able to evict somebody. It is just ongoing. It's a domino effect, and it's kicking the can down the road, because this is going to get kicked so much where it's all going to tumble and fall. We're all going to fall flat on our face. I mean, everything is just going to turn into a disaster. This is the worst financial crisis we have ever been into, and we are going to such a dark place. We've never been there before. It is going to be worse than the 1929 crash 100 years ago. It's going to be worse than that. They say we're going to get another second wave of the virus. Who knows what's happening there? In the Epic Times, job growth expected to slow sharply over the next decade. Yep, over the next decade. The economy is limping, but Wall Street is still booming on the Wall Street Journal. I guess America is the service economy, and it is in a meltdown. Article here from the New York Times. Unemployment claims show layoffs continue to batter the economy. Washington Post, thousands have been evicted in the pandemic. It is everywhere in the world. I was reading an article a couple days ago that Brazil has been giving out $110 a month. I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot to us, but it buys food and it provides some income for like 60 million Brazilians who have nothing. And it's been helping a great deal. And Bolsonaro just came out and he's printing money, and now they're cutting it in half. And people are still grateful, but how long can they continue to print money and do this? In another article, in India, the economically destroyed. South Africa, economically destroyed. In France, economically destroyed. In Greece, economically destroyed. It's a pattern here. Do you see where I'm going with this? It's the whole world. We are all tumbling down together. So what does this mean? I mean, could there be a great reset? Could it just all come to fruition that they alleviate the US dollar and everyone just starts at zero again? All right, so I'd love to know your thoughts. How do you think this is all going to end? I mean, every country in the world is trying to save their people. Right? They're all trying to bail out billions and billions of dollars. How's this going to end? Can we continue? How long can we bail people out for? How long can we bail out companies? I mean, this is a serious problem. I'd love to know what you think. Because, either the companies fail or people fail. And that's what we're up against. Or maybe everybody fails. Well, the government's going to crash. This problem is worldwide. And it scares me to think, because what happens when we stop giving the aid? What happens when the government can no longer afford to help its people? This is why I think we're going into some really serious social unrest. It's really frightening. Anyway, I'd love your input on this. What's your timeline? How long do you think this is going to take? And how do we get out of this? China's economy is growing. They say better than the rest of the world. They got this virus under control. And China, unlike us, makes things. Airlines, United Airways just declared that they're going to lay off, 15,000 workers. On top of American Airlines, 19,000 workers. I mean, they are pleading with Congress and the federal government. Please, please, please help us. They are in terrible shape. Tens of thousands of flights have been canceled this fall. An earthquake is happening within the airline industry, and I don't know how many bailouts can save them. This is not going to end anytime soon. It's such a shit show, the whole thing. Listen, I think we're in for a real bumpy ride, and I think that, you should just have enough money in the bank to pay your bills. This is not a financial advice channel, but stock up on some food, have some tangible assets, whatever it is, in your hand. Hunker down, cut your cost spending. We're in for some tough times, folks. Until the next video, stay well and keep the faith. Talk to you soon. Don't forget to subscribe and give this video a big thumbs up if you found the content interesting. All right, we'll talk soon.